So we go into the last part of this chapter, all right, which is how they're breaking down the present tense verb for us. We touched on this last week, but we just want to go over it again to emphasize, all right? So we are on page 4 وتسعون or page 94. ورقم 4 تأمل ما يلي. تذهب. So we have the verb تذهب, sorry, يذهب, ya, dal, ha, and ba. Where are the root letters here? Which of these four? Which three letters of these four are the root letters? Who can tell me? The dal, the ha, and the ba. Okay. The dal, the ha, and the ba. All right. So these three here. The dal, the ha, and the ba. Okay. These are the root letters. So therefore, what do we have added on? If I say the ya, sorry, the, dal, the ha, and the ba, these are the root letters. Da, ha, ba. What is added on? The ya. Okay? This is added on. So therefore, what do we call that? Look at it here. The ya is called harful mudari'. Harful mudari'u. All right? It is the present tense letter. That is what the ya is. Dhahaba, it is the root verb, right? And then you have the dhamir mustatir. The dhamir mustatir, taqdiruhu huwa. Dhamir mustatir is the hidden pronoun. All right. In the case of this third person, masculine singular, all right, it means what? What does it mean? It means he goes. Just as dhahaba means he went, yadhabu means he goes. All right? That's what it means. Where is the he? It is not written, it's not expressed. It is what? It is understood. Okay? It is understood. Just as if you say dhahabat, she went. Dhahabat, she went. Where is the she? Where is the pronoun for she? It's understood. It's not there. All right. So here now, when we look at the plural, we have the dal, we have the ha, and we have the ba. All right. Dhahaba. What is the verb here? Yadhabuna. So what is added on? The ya, the wow, and the noon. I want you all to pay particular attention to this. All right. We're drawing on some of the lessons we would have covered in the past. So we draw in on our experience now. Okay. So we have the ya, which we just said before is what? It is the harful mudari'ah. It is the present tense letter, which is added at the beginning. Okay. Then we also have, well, of course, we have the root, which is forms the basis for this pattern, right? These are the root letters. Then you have the wow. What is the wow? The wow here is the fa'il. As I say, I want you all to pay particular attention to this. What is the fa'il again? Anybody can tell me what is that? Okay, the
Subject, is
file,
it the subject? Is it the subject?
right, the subject, or
File.
the doer of the action, all right?
It's
The doer of the action.
subject.
So this is the file. What is the file? The wow. This is called in Arabic wow al-jama'a. Wow al-jama'a. Anybody knows what jama'a means? Sounds similar to Jumu'ah. Congregation, or Jumu'ah is congregation. So jama'a is plural, right? Wow al-jama'a is the wow of plural. So therefore this wow is added on to the masculine plural verb. You see wow there, right? Wow. Wow al-jama'a. And then you have the noon at the end. And this noon is actually the alamatu rafa. The alamatu rafa. So again, bear with me here. The alamatu raf is called, is what is the sign of being in the nominative case. Remember, there are three cases for verbs. There are three cases for nouns. There are three cases for verbs. The three cases for nouns, which we did in the past, what are the three cases? Rafa, nasb, and jar. Now, Rafa, which is nominative, nasb, which is accusative, and jar, which is genitive. Now, so with verbs now, first of all, side note, the only verb that changes cases is the present tense verb. This does not apply to past tense, does not apply to the command form. Right? The only verb that changes case is the present tense. So this is what we're dealing with now. Now, for the present tense verb, there are three cases. They are rafa, nasb, and jazm. Raf, nasb, and jazm, which is nominative, accusative, and what we call the jussive in English. Jussive, all right?
Jussive, okay, jussive case.
Right? So this is just for the present tense verb. Present tense. Now each sign, or sorry, each case has a particular sign to go with it. Each case has a particular sign. Let's look back, or let's think back rather, to the nouns. Its general noun, generally speaking, or the common noun, the sign of it being nominative or rafa, the dhamma. The sign of it being accusative or nasb is what? The fatha. And the sign of it being jar or genitive is the kasra, right? So you have dhamma, fatha, kasra. So the dhamma is for what? The nominative. Fatha is for what? Accusative. And the kasra is for what? Genitive. These are the three cases for nouns, right? Now with respect to the cases for present tense verbs, why am I saying present tense verbs? Because the past tense and the command form, they do not change case, all right? They are mabni. So we only dealing with the present tense verb. I said that about 2 times already, but I'm repeating myself. So I hope it sticks, all right? The present tense verb is the only one that changes case, all right? So when we talk about changing case, obviously we want to talk about sign. What is the sign of it being in this case? What is the sign of it being in this case? What is the sign of it being in this case? All right. So we're looking at the different signs. Now, if you have, let's say, for example, the present tense verb, yadhabu, is basic, singular, masculine singular, present tense verb. All right. The sign of it being nominative is still the dhamma. All right. And the sign of it being accusative is still the fatha. So yadhabu will be in the case of rafa. or nominative. Yadhaba with a fatha on the ba at the end. Okay. If this had a fatha, it will be what? Yadhaba, ba, fatha, ba. Yadhaba. That will be if it is in the case of nasb, right, or accusative. All right. And it will have a sukun if it is in the case of jazm, or the jussive case. All right. So you have yadhabu, yadhaba, and yadhab. Right? These are the three cases for the present tense verb. Now, just as with the nouns, please remember with the nouns, we had some nouns that would take the normal signs. What are the signs of the cases for the nouns again? The basic sign, Dhamma, Fatha, Kesra. Nominative, accusative, genitive. These are the signs, all right? However, they have some nouns that we don't look at these vowels for the sign. Rather, we look at a letter. For example, instead of Muslimun, you have Muslimin. So the un change to in. Muslimun, Muslimin. All right. So what changes there? The letter waw changes to a letter ya. This is nouns we're talking about now. Eh? Please don't get mixed up with verbs. I don't want to get mixed up with verbs. We didn't know with verbs, but just call them back what you talk about with nouns. All right. So Muslimuna, Muslimina. What changed there? The waw changed to ya. What am I saying? I'm saying that because I want to say that there are words which show the change in case with other than the vowel. Okay? How does it show change in case? In the case of Muslimuna, Muslimin, it shows the sign or the sign of the change in case is a change in the letter from waw to ya. All right? Everybody with me so far? Anybody confused? So that's nouns. Similarly, with verbs, with the present tense verb, we have the change in case, as I said, with the basic verb, yadhabu, yadhaba, yadhab. That is just the vowel on the last letter. However, just as you have exceptions with the nouns, you also have exceptions with the verbs. All right? So you have a word like yadhabuna. Look at it carefully. I want you all to focus on this carefully because this is a source of confusion for many students. All right? Yadhabuna, this means they went. Plural verb, right? When this changes case, what changes is a letter, not the last vowel. Okay? So one might think, okay, well, Muslimuna, Muslimina. So therefore is yadhabuna, yadhabina. Is that it? No, that is not what changes. What changes is the last letter here, the noon. The noon is what changes. This is for verbs. Focus here. This is for verbs. All right. What drops off? The noon drops off. The noon changes. How does it change? It disappears. The noon what? The noon disappears in other cases. So that is why here you will see how they break down this word, yadhabuna. What did they refer to? The noon as? It is the alamatu rafa. So the alamatu rafa, or the sign of it being in the case of rafa, or the nominative case, the sign of it is what? Thubut noon, or the noon staying there. The noon is still there. So it is therefore in the case of rafa. So if I say the noon is still there for the case of raf, what does that suggest? It suggests in the other cases now the noon disappears. So if it is in the case of nasb, the noon disappears. If it's in the case of jazm, the noon disappears. All right. So this is in the present tense, the plural, masculine plural. The noon, whether the noon is there or not, it's a sign of it changing the case. All right, everybody with me? All right. All right, let's look at the next one. تذهب. In this case, the ta is the harf al-mudari'ah, which we said is the present tense letter. We said there are four: ya, ta, noon, and the hamza. Okay, so this is added at the beginning. Then, of course, we have the root word, which is dhahaba. Then we have damir mustatir, which is the hidden damir, which is what represents the fa'il. All right. Any questions so far?
Brother Asad, can you give us an example with tadhabu changing to tadhaba?
Tadhaba. Yeah. Well, as with nouns, you have certain things acting on the verb that changes it from one case to another. Okay. So, for example, the la, lam, and lan. These changes. So, for example, tadhabu, you go. All right, tadhabu, you go. If you say la tadhaba, that might, the la means is a prohibition. Don't go. We change it. All right. Lan tadhab, or lam or lan. I have to check back that, right? Changes it to jazm. So lan tadhab, change the jazm with a sukun on the last letter. So these are things are the things that are acting upon, or rather influencing the change from one case to the next. As with nouns, the default case is rafa, or the nominative case, or the normal case. All right, and only when something acts on it, then it changes to nasb or jazm. Right, the accusative or the adjussive. Right, so we have to go through those particles and those words that changes the present tense verb from one to another. Right, so we'll come to that inshallah. Any other questions? All right, so let's look at the other one here. Yadhabna. So this is the present tense feminine plural, third person, right? So you have dhahaba, yadhabu, yadhabuna, yadhabna. They went, or they are going, right? Feminine plural. So again, we have the ya is the harf mudari'ah. Dhahaba is the root verb, of course. The noon is the fa'il. Look at this carefully. In this case, the noon is what? Is the fa'il. This is called noon and niswa. Noon and niswa. I'm not writing it down because I just mentioned it here. Inshallah, later on, we will get all these terminologies and so on, right? This is just to highlight, okay, in this case, the noon is called the feminine noon. The feminine noon. What? What is it called? The feminine noon. Noon and niswa. Noon and niswa. Right? The feminine noon. In this case, this noon now, it would be the fa'il, or the doer of the verb. Tadhabu, this is for feminine third person, right? You have ta as the harf mudari'ah, dhahaba is the root verb, and then you have damir mustatir, taqdiruhu hiya. Then you have tadhabuna, you, masculine plural, are going. You have the ta, the harf mudari'ah, dhahaba is the root verb. You have the waw is the fa'il, is the waw al-jama'ah, or the plural waw, to make it plural. This is the fa'il. And the noon here is the alamatu rafa, just as in the yadhabuna, tadhabuna. Right? The same thing. The noon is the alamatu rafa. Tadhabina. Tadhabina, this is anti tadhabina. Second person, feminine, singular. Anti tadhabina. The ta here, of course, the harfu mudari'ah. You have the root verb, dhahaba. You have the ya here now, is the fa'il. Ya. Right? And noon here would be the alamatu rafa. Okay, so this would, so the noon here would be the alamatu rafa, or the sign of it being in the case of rafa. Tadhabna, ta is the harfu mudari'ah. Dhahaba is the verb, and the noon here is the fa'il. This is again the noon and niswa. Adhabu, you have the a, is the harfu mudari'ah. Dhahaba is the root verb, and damir mustatir taqdiruhu ana would be the fa'il. Right? Then you have nadhabu, the noon here is the harfu mudari'ah. Dhahaba, and damir mustatir would be taqdiruhu nahnu. Nahnu nadhabu. So you can say nahnu nadhabu, we are going, or you can just say nadhabu. All right, if you say nadhabu, it is understood the pronoun there is built into the word, we are going. All right, so that's why they have here damir mustatir. It's the hidden damir. All right, so we have here the kalimat al-jadidatu, sayyaratul ujra. This is the taxi, right? Safun and sufuf is we did saf. Did we do saf? No, we did that in this passage. Right? Saf is like a line, right? You know, in the salah when the imam says sawu sufufakum, that means straighten a line, right? Then you have akhirun, it means the last or the end, right? Good. So we're going to start. Are there any questions on this? On this chapter? Any further questions? All right, so we're going to do the next chapter now. Ad-Darsu Rabi'a Ashara. Ad-Darsu Rabi'a Ashara. The 14th lesson. 14th lesson. Why do we say the 14th and not lesson 14? Why do we say that? Buddy? What's the difference between saying 4 in English? Ask in English now. The difference between saying 14 and 14th. What's the difference in English?
Is it a part of speech?
Part of
14th,
yeah,
14th lesson, one could be adjective.
Yeah. Adjective.
Adjective, okay, yeah, but in terms of what do we call the numbers?
Nominal and
Nominal.
cardinal.
Ordinal, right? So one is ordinal.
Ordinal. No, ordinal.
Ordinal and cardinal.
Ordinal basically gives an order, right? So you have first, second, third, these are the ordinal numbers. So one, the ordinal for one will be first. Two, the ordinal for two will be second. Three, the ordinal for three will be third, and so on, right? So we have 14th. So here, Ar-Rabi'a, it is the ordinal for Arba'a. So the word Arba'a means what? 4, right? So Wahid is 9, Thalatha, Arba'a. So Arba'a is 4, but Ar-Rabi'a is what? 4th. And here, of course, we have Ar-Rabi'a Ashara, the 14th. Right? So this is the ordinal number here. Okay, so as usual, I'll read it, and I want you all to follow. First of all, we just probably take the first page, right? And I want you all to follow, listen, and after that I'll say it, and you all can repeat after me. All right? Bismillah. الدرس الرابع عشر. المدرس من بالباب طالب. أنا طالب جديد. المدرس ادخل. ما اسمك؟ الطالب اسمي همايون. المدرس همايون. كيف تكتب هذا الاسم؟ كيف تكتب هذا الاسم؟ اكتبه على هذه الورقة. اكتبوه على هذه الورقة. الطلاب يا أستاذ ها هنا أقرب. المدرس أقرب في الفصل. أين هي؟ أقرب في الفصل. أين هي؟ الطلاب انظر هنا يا أستاذ. هي تحت مكتب هشام. المدرس اقتلوها يا إخوان. الطلاب بما نقتلوها. المدرس اقتلها بخذائك يا هشام. أماتت هشام؟ نعم ماتت. المدرس اجلسوا يا أبنائي. اقرأ الدرس يا علي. علي أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق الإنسان من علق. All right, so let's read that again. And you can see after me now, right? الدرس الرابع عشر. المدرس من بالباب طالب. أنا طالب جديد. المدرس ادخل. ما اسمك؟ الطالب اسمي همايون. المدرس همايون. كيف تكتب هذا الاسم؟ اكتبه على هذه الورقة. الطلاب يا أستاذ ها هنا أقرب. ها هنا أقرب. المدرس أقرب في الفصل. أين هي؟ أقرب في الفصل. أين هي؟ الطلاب انظر هنا يا أستاذ. الطلاب انظر هنا يا أستاذ. هي تحت مكتب هشام. هي تحت مكتب هشام. المدرس اقتلوها يا إخوان. اقتلوها يا إخوان. الطلاب بما نقتلها. بما نقتلها. المدرس اقتلها بحذائك. يا هشام. أماتت هشام؟ نعم ماتت. المدرس اجلسوا يا أبنائي. اقرأ الدرس يا علي. اقرأ درس يا هشام. علي أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق. خلق الإنسان من علق. All right. So let's go through it briefly so we can understand some of what we're saying here. الدرس الرابع عشر, the 14th lesson. Al-Mudarris, the teacher, is asking Man bil-Bab. Man is a question, of course, is an interrogative particle. So ask a question. All right. Man, who? Bil-Bab, to ba means with or by. Okay. Who is by the door? Al-Bab. Man bil-Bab, who is by the door? Man bil-Bab, who is by the door? Tullabun is student. Ana talibun jadidun. I am a new student. Okay, so the student said what? I am a new student. Notice here again the adjective. Na'at and man'ut. The na'at, it has to match the man'ut in the four things, right? Whether it is definite or indefinite, masculine or feminine, all right, singular, dual or plural, and the case, whether it is raf, nasb, or jar. Okay, so in this case, talibun, it is singular, indefinite, masculine, and in the case it is in the case of raf, because of the dhamma. All right, dhamma indicates raf, generally speaking. All right, so therefore, the adjective, the na'at, also has to match it in these four things. That's why we say talibun jadidun. All right, talibun jadidun. So jadid is also masculine, singular, indefinite, and has a tanween dominant. All right. Al-Mudarris udkhul. So this is, we're getting into the realm of the command form of the verbs. Okay, we did past tense, we did present tense the last few lessons, and now we are doing the command form of the verb. So look at this. Udkhul, udkhul. All right, we're reading it here. We'll get into the construction of the command form of the verb, inshallah, later on in this lesson. How do we form it? And how do we use the patterns to form the command form of the verb? All right, so al-mudarrisu udkhul, udkhul, enter. So dakhala means to enter. Yadkhulu, he enters. All right, so dakhala, he entered. Yadkhulu, he enters, present tense. Udkhul, udkhul. It is the command form. So it is important to note here, when we are learning a verb, remember I said, we have to learn the present tense with the past tense. All right, why? Because of the vowel in the middle letter. That changes. We need to learn that so we know what the letter goes with the middle, or sorry, what vowel goes with the middle letter. So dakhala yadkhulu, dakhala yadkhulu. However, with the command form, we don't need to learn that with the verb. There are patterns which we just simply apply to any verb and we get the command form. So that's good news there. We don't have a next word to learn for the verb. So there's only two things when you're learning a verb. You learn the past tense and the present tense form of the verb. After that, for all the conjugations and all the command forms, we have patterns where we apply. Very simple. Arabic is so easy. All right? So you have dakhala, yadkhulu, udkhul, udkhul, enter. All right? Al-mudarrisu, udkhul, enter. Masmuka, what is your name? So ma ismu ka. Ma means what? Ismu is name and ka is your. So what is your name? All right? Of course, because of the hamzatul wasl here, it becomes silent. So we don't say ma ismuka. That is wrong. You can't say ma ismuka. Once it's something before the hamzatul wasl, as we have here, the ma, the hamzatul wasl becomes silent. So we go straight from that to the sin. So we say mas, masmuka. All right, so what is your name? At-talibu ismi, my name, Humayunu. Humayunu. My name is Humayun. Right, so Al-Mudarris asks, Humayunu. So it's a strange name, at least for the teacher. So he asks him, Kaifa taktubu hadha al-ismu. How do you? Kaifa means how. Taktubu, you write. How do you write? Hadha, this al-ismu. How do you write this name? How do you write this name? Uktubhu. Again, look at this here. We have the command form again here. Uktub. All right, so kataba yaktubu uktub. Uktub who. So write it. The who here is the pronoun referring back to it. It what? His name. All right. So uktubhu, write it. Ala, on hadihi, this al-waraqati, on this paper. So al-waraqa is a paper. Right? At-tullab, the students, they are saying now, Ya ustadu, O teacher, ha huna aqarabun. Here is a scorpion. Aqarabun. Right? Here is a scorpion. So he's saying, oh, look out. So ha huna is like a, you want to draw somebody's attention to something. Ha huna, look here. Or look out. Or here is a scorpion, right? So Al-Mudarris says, Aqarabun fil fasli. Is there a scorpion in the class? Aina here. Where is it? At-tullab. Unzur. Look. So we have the verb Navara, which is to look. Yanzuru, he looks. Unzur, look, command form, right? Command form. Unzur huna, look here. Ya ustad, look here, O teacher. Here tahta maktabi Hishamin. It is below Hisham's desk. Here tahta maktabi Hishamin. It is below Hisham's desk. Al-Mudarris, uqtuluha ya ikhwanu. Kill it, oh brothers. All right. So telling the students to kill the scorpion. At-Tullab, bima naqtuluha. With what? With what we should kill it? So they kind of scared too, right? They know what to kill it with. Bima, with what? So you have ma meaning what, and you have be with. Now when you join these two particles, the aleph for ma drops out. We did this many lessons ago, right? So you have, if you don't say bima, we say bima. Bima. Bima naqtuluha. With what do we kill it? Right? Al-Mudarrisu uqtulha bihidaika ya Hisham. So you're addressing Hisham directly now. Uqtulha. Kill it. Bihidai. So hidai is a shoe. And ka means your. So hidaika, your shoe. Your shoe. And be means with. Right? So with your shoe. Bihidaika. Bihidaika. So uqtulha, kill it. Bihidaika, with your shoe. Ya Hisham. Oh Hisham. Then after a while he say amatat, is it dead? Right? Mata, yamutu means to die. All right. So he's asking, is a question. Matat, did it die or is it dead? Hisham says, Naam matat. Yes, it is dead. All right. So he successfully killed the scorpion. All right. So then the teacher tried to bring back the class to the lesson. He says, Al-Mudaris, ijlisu, sit down. Ya abana'i, sit. So here's the plural here. Ijlisu. See the waw al-jama'a there? Waw al-jama'a. So he's speaking to the group of them. Sit down, all of you. Ya abana'i, O my children. Iqra, read. Ad-darsa, the lesson. Ya Ali. Iqra ad-darsa, Ya Ali. Read the lesson, O Ali. So Ali starts, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. I seek refuge with Allah from Satan, the rejected. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Iqra, read. Bismi Rabbika alladhi. Read with the name Rabbika, of your Lord, alladhi khalaq, who created. Khalaq al-insana, who created mankind. Min alaq, from the alaq, which is a drop. All right. So let's read this one more time. We'll continue to the next page next week, inshallah ta'ala. All right. In fact, it's just a short piece, and then we'll start the exercises. So let's read this one more time, inshallah. Al-Mudarrisu man bil babi talibun ana talibun jadidun. Al-Mudarrisu udkhul masmuka. At-talibu ismi Humayuna. Al-Mudarrisu Humayuna. كيف تكتب هذا الاسم؟ اكتبه على هذه الورقات. الطالب يا أستاذ ها هنا أقرب. المدرس أقرب في الفصل أين هي؟ الطالب انظر هنا يا أستاذ هي تحت مكتب هشام. المدرس اقتلوها يا إخوان. See the vowel jama'a there? Uqtuluha. All right, so this is he's speaking to the group. Right, the group of them. So that's why I have this vowel jama'a. Uqtuluha. Ya ikhwanu. At-tullab. Bima naqtuluha. Al-mudarris. Uqtulha. Bikhida'ika. Ya Hisham. Notice the difference here. So we have here, all right? Let's get this. Right. Here we have uqtuluha. And here we have uqtulha. Okay? You all see any difference there? Uqtuluha and uqtulha. So this one, the first one is plural, you have the vowel jama'a. And the second one, it is singular. So in this case, he's speaking directly to who? Hisham. He's speaking directly to Hisham. The first one, he's speaking to the group. All of you, kill it. And then he's speaking directly to Hisham. Kill it with your boots or with your shoes. O Hisham. Uqtulha bikhida'ika, ya Hisham. Kill it with your shoes, O Hisham. Amatat, is it dead? Hishamun. Na'am, matat. Yes, it is dead. Right? Al-mudarrisu. Ijlisu, ya abana'i. اقرأ الدرس يا علي. علي. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق. خلق الإنسان من علق. All right. Any questions on this passage? No questions? All right. So we'll close off here today, inshallah ta'ala. Next week, we'll recap this quickly and then read out the last piece on the next page and then start the exercises. All right. So we close off now, inshallah. Do Fatafara, Surah Al-Asr. A'udhu billahi min ash-shaytan ar-rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Wal-'asr. Inna al-insana lafi khusr. إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات تواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله